looking at the technology used in different information systems. So we need to understand what IT is, because IT stands for information technology. So we need to really understand what IT is. So basically, IT or information technology is, um, make sure your mic is off. Whoever joined, make sure your mic is off. So IT is a subsystem. It is a subsystem of information system. In other words, information technology is a subsystem of information system. So it is basically a technology that we normally use to store and retrieve data or information from the computer system. So uh, information systems, part of information systems, or in information systems, we have information technology. So information technology is that technology that we use or that is actually responsible for the storage and retrieval of data from the computer systems. So it is actually a technology that is really taking shape in terms of applications, in terms of the internet, in terms of mobile phones, and so many other types. So basically, information technology is made up of or consists of the computer hardware, the software, the databases, the networks. Um, we can talk of, for example, the hard disks, the pen drives, or maybe other memory cards and USB drives, the ones that we use to store um, information, or maybe you can say we can store that, we can use them to store, for example, the payment details of students in a college. All that is IT. So we can actually define information technology broadly as the putting together or the integration of computer with the telecommunication equipment that is used for storing, for retrieving, for manipulating, and even for the storage of data. So according to what we call or what is known as the Information Technology Association of America, it defines information technology as the study, the design, the development, the application, the implementation, the support, the management of computer-based information systems. So the impact of information systems is seen because it is actually enhancing the performance of systems. Um, it enhances, it boosts the performance of economy. It gives us a way of solving some social issues, and also information technology enables us or enables the making of information system affordable, and also enables us to have uh, information systems that are user friendly. So let's make a comparison of the information system and information technology. Don't forget that we said information technology is a subsystem of the information system. So in terms of origin, the information systems have been there even before the pre-mechanical era. Information systems have been there. They have not been there in form of computers, but they have been there in form of drawings, in form of books. Okay, but if we look at information technology is actually attributed to the invention of computers. So if we compare the two in terms of origin, information systems have been there even before the or since the pre-mechanical eras, but information technology came through with the invention of computers. If we compare them in terms of development, if you look at the information systems, it has really undergone a lot of development. We have moved from having manual records to now we have cloud storage systems. We are able to store information in cloud. Information technology also has undergone some changes, because now because it's since it's centrally based on the invention of computers. In terms of the evolution or the development of computers, we are focusing on having more faster processors and even we are trying to reduce the sizes of storage devices. So we are trying to, we have now smaller devices, but that have very powerful processing speed. Again, if we compare the two in terms of business application, uh, we have had the business we have had businesses using information systems way long, even before the computers were invented. We have things called known as, like, for example, we have the manual books of accounts. So the business has moved from the manual books of accounts. Now we have modern tallying. So we have also had a big change in terms of how communication is done. We have moved from letters to now emails. So IT, or information technology, has contributed in bringing efficiency in terms of productivity and precision, in terms of manufacturing in the various organizations and various companies. So that marks the end of our first outcome. So the second outcome, we are supposed to analyze how the common office applications are integrated with information systems. In other words, how do we integrate the common office applications with information systems? So we need to ask ourselves, what are office applications? Basically, when we talk about office applications, we are talking about applications or pieces of softwares that are used for businesses. For example, we talk about word processing, we talk about database management, we talk about spreadsheets and all that. So they are pieces of softwares that are used for business, and they are really available worldwide. They exist in packages that are brought in by vendors. For example, we have Microsoft Office. So when you talk about Microsoft Office, we are talking about a package of softwares that are used for office work. So if you look at the Microsoft Office suite, uh, it was majorly designed to be used for office, or we can say for business, and it is actually a product of Microsoft Corporation that was released in the year 1990. So we have Microsoft Office existing in 35 different languages. You can use it in Chinese, you can use it in German. It exists in different languages, and it is supported by different operating systems like the Windows, the Mac, the various or majority of the Linux variants also support Microsoft Office. So when you look at Microsoft Office, what you see, for those who did computer packages or computer operations, you know that Microsoft Office is made up of the Word software, the Excel, the PowerPoint, the Access. We have OneNote, Outlook, and we even have uh, publisher applications. Um, again, the Microsoft Office, what you need to understand is that its creation was majorly to turn the manual office work to some built-in applications. Okay, so the various applications in the Microsoft Office package, each of those applications is serving a specific purpose. For example, if we look at Microsoft OneNote, we use it as an alternate to the paper notebook that we used to have. So instead of us having a paper notebook, we go to Microsoft OneNote, and it enables us to organize our notes. If you look at Microsoft Access is for database management. We have Microsoft PowerPoint, which is actually for creating multimedia presentations. We have Microsoft Publisher, uh, which is used to create marketing materials. Then we have Microsoft Excel, that is used to do some simple, even complex, to deal with simple and even complex data. So all these softwares, each of them is performing a specific task. So apart from the desktop version or the desktop applications of the Microsoft Office, we have others that you can use online from cloud. Of course, you can use Microsoft Office 365 version. Now, let's look at the examples of common Office applications that are used by organizations. But even we go to that, let's understand. We are talking about softwares. There are two main categories of softwares. We have application softwares and we have system softwares. System softwares are those softwares that are controlling the operation of a system. For example, an operating system is a system software because without the operating system, you cannot use a computer system. Examples of operating system can be we have Windows, we have Mac, Linux, we have many other operating systems. Even Android is an operating system. Then we have application softwares. An application software is basically a software that was made to perform a specific purpose. Okay, it was made to perform a specific function or a specific task. Okay, so they are actually programs that are made to help the user do a task. So what are the functions of these type of softwares? Number one, they are used to manage information management. They are used also in manipulating data. For example, you can have raw data in Excel, you do analysis and you get some information from there. We use them to construct visuals. We use them to coordinate resources. We use them to even calculate figures. Now, if you look at the most common application softwares that are used by so many people in, day out, we have the Microsoft Suite, Microsoft Suite of products, which actually consist of the Office, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and so many others that is used for office productive working. Then we have internet browsers. For example, you have Firefox, you have Safari, you have Chrome, that we use them for surfing over the internet. Those are also application softwares. Then we have mobile pieces of software. For example, we can talk about Pandora, that is normally used for music appreciation. We have Skype, that is used for real-time online communication, etc, etc, etc. So how are these softwares integrated in business? How do we integrate the common office applications and business processes? So again, what is a business process? A business process is actually a set of tasks, or you can say some series of tasks that are completed in order to actually complete a goal or a task. So it is a process that is focuses on achieving a goal for a business. We call it a procedure that is focused on achieving a goal for a business. We call it a process. Then we need to also understand what enterprise systems mean. So ERP systems they are actually systems that integrate the business processes of maybe an entire organization or an entire industry into a single software system that is going to enable information to flow through the organization. So all the business processes in a college put in one system, all the business processes in a manufacturing company put in one system, and that one system allows the flow of information from one department to another, from one office to another. We call that an enterprise resource planning system. So it is a software application that has a centralized database. When you say centralized database, we mean that it has one database that is a standalone database in that particular institution. It does not have many databases that are linked to each other. So there is no sharing of resources with other databases in there. So it is a single database. So it has a single database. So if you look at this image, then you can see it has a centralized database, and all these departments are able to access this database. The finance department is able to access the database, the sales, the purchasing, the accounting, engineering, the human resource, the planning, and the business intelligence. So one database shared by all these departments. So, so an ERP is, an ERP actually has processes that are unique to that organization. But again, we can buy ERPs that are actually doing um, they're actually doing something that is really similar with other organizations. So for many organizations, the implementation of the ERP system is actually an opportunity, since it is actually improving the business practices and making sure that their software upgrades are done at given time or at same time. So the question would be, how then do we bring together the available tools to make sure that we are creating, we are storing, we are manipulating, and we are also able to relay or communicate business critical data across the various networks? Now, that brings us to the concept of ICT. ICT stands for Information Communication Technology. Okay? Now, we don't have any universally accepted definition of ICT. Now, the reason is because the concepts and even the methods and the implications that are involved in ICT are evolving, are changing, okay, on almost daily basis. They are changing, so it's really difficult to keep up with the changes. So we don't have a fixed, we don't have a globally agreed upon definition of information communication technology. So then we have to think it in a good way. So a good way to think about ICT is to actually consider all the various uses of the digital technology that are existing to help individuals and even businesses uh, to use information. So when you talk about ICT, we are basically covering any product that will store, will retrieve, will manipulate, will transmit, and will transmit, or transmit by transmit I mean send. So it will transmit, it will send or receive electronic information that comes in a digital form. And for example, we can talk about personal computers, we can talk about the digital televisions, the digital television, we can talk about the email, we can talk about robots. So ICT is concerned majorly on the storage, the retrieval, the manipulation, the transmission or the reception or the receiving of digital data. Okay, it is of essence to note that ICT is also concerned with how, or with the various ways that different components of a system can work with each other. Now, I'm pretty sure you are getting the difference between ICT and IT. Because when we are talking about IT, we are not focusing on the various ways of data transmission, the various ways these various things can really communicate and work together. But when we talk about ICT, that's why we have the aspect of communication in ICT. Because it's also concerned with the ways these particular components can are used to really work together or work with one another. So we put ICT often in two broad categories, or in two broad types of products. And the first one is the traditional computer-based technology. In other words, when you talk about the traditional computer-based technology, we are talking about things that you can typically do on a personal computer or using your own computer at home or at your workplace. Number two is the digital communication technologies, which really allow people and organizations to communicate and share information digitally. So these are the two broad types of products in ICT. One, traditional computer-based, that deals with the typical use of personal computers, either in your office or at home. Then you have the digital communication technologies that are actually allowing people and organizations to communicate and share information digitally. Okay. So when you look at for example, the traditional computer-based technology, we are talking about the standard office applications. So we are talking about the word processing, the spreadsheets, the database software, the presentation software, for example, MS PowerPoint, the desktop publishing. We talk about Adobe, InDesign, the Quark Express. We talk about the Microsoft Publisher, etc, 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 etc. Now, we are also talking about some specialist applications. We have applications like Sage, that is for accounts, and even Oracle, that is used to manage the organization's accounts. We have other, we call computer aided design, the CAD, that are normally used in the design processes. Then we have the digital communication technologies, which actually deals uh, uh, with the communication of electronic data over some distance, and this communication is normally achieved by through networks. So we have networks of sending and even receiving equipment. We have wires, we have satellite links. So computer are interconnected, they are connected together, they are linked so that there can be communication. So the technologies that are actually involved in communication are really complex, and for your level or at your level, you don't need to really go into the details of them for you to be able to really excel in your computing and information system course. But we need to focus on the two primary types of networks, and that is the internal networks, which we call the local area network, and we need to talk about the external network, which we call the wide area network. So the internal networks, as I mentioned before, we also refer it to as a local area network, and it actually involves the linking of a number of hardware items, maybe input and even output devices, and we have some computer processing. We link together within an office or a building. For instance, if we in the ICT department, we connect all these computers and they are able to communicate, then we say we have created a local area network. Now, the aim of creating a local area network is majorly to make sure that there is a resource sharing. We are able to share hardware facilities. For example, we are able to share the printer, we are able to share the scanners. Now, so from the IT department, I can command a document to print using the printer at the reception. Why? Because they are networked, they are connected. So you just command from here and you go pick the document from there. Okay. Then you have the external network. Now the external network comes in because as an organization, you will need to communicate to the outside world. So you will need the external network. So you will have to be part of a wide area network. Okay. And when we talk about a wide area network, then of course the network comes, the internet comes in as the ultimate wide area network, because we say it is a network of networks. Okay. So let's talk about office automation. So when you talk about office automation, we are actually looking at the act of actually combining computer hardware, combining software, and even combining networks to actually create or to make possible a variety of office operations. For example, inventory management, facility management, accounting, email, word processing, etc. So it is actually used to digitally create, to even store and manipulate and relay office information and data that is actually needed for some tasks to be done. So what are the benefits of implementing office automation systems? One, we are able to have data storage and manipulation. So we are able to store data, confidential documents and records. Uh, we have also data applications in the system that we can use to create or even edit some document. We have various types or rather, you can find some applications that are dedicated applications for editing, for example, spreadsheets and images within that particular system. So we have data storage and manipulation. Number two, we have data management, which is actually one of the major components of office automation systems that is giving us some strategic advantages by just making sure it simplifies the management of the data that is stored and the information. So when you look at large business organizations, they are able to monitor and control the various projects and activities in an office through what we call the electronic management system. We have things like program schedules. We have things like tickler systems or reminder systems. We have things like task management, uh, 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 which are actually just to mention um, a few features of these systems. They bring in power to the business. They really boost the business. They make sure that the business is going to prosper without a great hassle. Number three, there is data exchange. So the data that is installed in the system that is manipulated, now it is possible for us to send files or exchange data or information from one member of an organization to another just through electronic transfer applications. So when we have a network, then all the data and information that includes the various documents that are in there. When we talk of text documents, presentations, spreadsheets, images, and videos, you can send them in a real time, and that happens within a second. Instead of you moving from your office to another office to submit a hard copy document, you can send that document through the network and it arrives in that particular department. And that is what we call data exchange. Then number four, we have accuracy. Computer systems are very effective, just as the human brain. Okay, once you remove all the errors in a program or maybe an application, then you can get 100% accuracy. So any mistake that a computer program makes is made by the one who wrote that program. And once the bug is removed, then you are able to get 100% accuracy. You are able to get 100% accuracy. So there is accuracy in these systems. Number five, it saves time and resources, of course. Um, Sending and receiving documents is in a short period of time over the network. It's just in seconds. You can imagine sending documents to Nairobi where you have to book a bus. You go and then come back. You're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're wasting resources. Imagining that all the documents must be printed and manually be submitted, then a lot of resources, a lot of paper will be wasted, a lot of money will be wasted. So the last but not least point is that um, since we are able to automate the various processes here, we are able to reduce the cost. So when we reduce the cost, what happens is we are saving money, and what the result of that is that we are going to maximize our profit. We are going to maximize our profit. That is great. Now, let's look at office automation considerations. In other words, when you look at office automation considerations, you're looking at people, the tools, and the work, and majorly the workplace. Okay. There are other factors that must be considered when we are putting up. There are factors that must be considered when we are launching or we are putting up information systems to make sure that they are effective. We have factors like the budget, the budget that you're going to put down, the physical space. Do you have the place, the room, the server room, all that? Um, you look at the communication infrastructure and many other factors. But as for now, we are going to look at two other factors that must be considered in this particular engagement. And the first one is the employee training, and the second one is proliferation of office automation choices. So, training. When you are installing an information system, you must train all the people that are going to use that information system. Okay? You need to have people. Information systems involve different people. We have the software, we have the hardware engineers, we have people managing the information systems, we have middle level workers, we have secretaries, There are just few people that I have mentioned, but you have to train these personnel. You have to make sure that they are really trained, they are okay with the system, they are at home with the system. Then the choice of the office automation also matters in terms of I need to look at in terms of shapes, in terms of sizes, and in terms of the subject areas. So you need to really make sure you are choosing an option that is going to be affordable for your organization, and it is also going to solve the problem that you want to solve at that particular point.